Recently, I got a question about my Ultrasharp Actions, and it's a valid question and one that I've fielded many times before. People say, hey, why do you have a set of actions that does this complicated layer stack to do sharpening, and how is that different than, I don't know, using the filter, maybe go to other high pass sharpening method, or what about these other sharpening methods? These are valid questions, especially if you're newer to this sort of thing. And I always mention up front too, that retouching is not always just about how razor sharp you can make something. And if an image is already sharp, I tend to leave it alone, or I put a very small amount of sharpening. I also sharpen sometimes if I'm going to go print or if I'm not going to go print. If it's going to be only on Instagram, if it's not going to be maybe only on Instagram. I don't sharpen just one way. Depends on what I'm trying to do, right? And sometimes I don't even want to sharpen. However, the reason why these layer stacks exist and the reason why we use something like curves, which is what I'm going to talk about today, NBP Ultrasharp Pro curves, because let me explain the question that I received. It said, look, I saw the video on Ultrasharp. You have this layer stack. I'm going to go ahead and run it because, you start from a flattened version of the image here, right? This is my final edit, but now I'm going to sharpen. So I'm going to run it. And they said, look, I got this layer stack and then I get curves and I don't know how to use them. And then Nino, you say, oh, okay, well, no problem here. You can use the curves presets and that's going to give you the sharpening effects that you want, which I'm going to go over in 1 second. And the guy's question was, why? It seems like a big effort to get what looks like the same result as high pass. All right, well, let me kind of explain how nuance in sharpening can make the biggest difference. A lot of times we think a good sharpening function is how much can we push the sharpening without getting haloing or other kind of, image artifacting. That's like one technical definition of a good sharpen. But a good sharpen sometimes is very, very subtle. So let me kind of explain the whole process here. So what this layer stack has done is taken our base image, which was that edit over here, right? And it's done a complicated frequency separation multi-band pass of it. So it has multiple passes of the high frequencies all separated out. And they blend into each other, but they don't duplicate. So if you sharpen, for example, just the high, that's all you're sharpening, which is a very clean way to do things to minimize haloing, etc. Now, how do we do that, right? I mentioned that the curves, someone said, look, if I go to curves, let's say on the high one here, on the high frequency, and I darken and I lighten, I'm not getting a sharpening effect or even close. And this is, of course, when I said, look, it comes with these presets. They're perfect S curves. For example, right here, positive contrast to moderate. It goes, boom, we get an effect. Now let's turn it on and off so we can see off and on. Okay, and off and on. You can see we're sharpening that highest frequency, right? And you might think, okay, it's a preset, but how do I... All right, let me kind of explain the philosophy here. By using curves, it's not just a technical demonstration. It allows us to have the smoothest type of contrast enhancement of the different frequencies. Ipso facto, the upshot of that, my friends, is that you get cleaner sharpening boosts. Okay? No, we don't need to sharpen maximum all the time, but we want to avoid haloing. Now, at wider bands, okay, medium, low, and low, a lot of times increasing that doesn't necessarily help your sharpening, but it might help some tonal contrast. It also might not. That separation is there mostly to extract the higher ones and leave the bottom ones untouched. However, those options are there for another reason. Let me explain that. Let's say I go to medium low and I got the curves, clipped down to modify the medium low. I can go once again to the presets because I need the perfect S curve. And I can say negative contrast mild. And now I've scaled back. I'm going to zoom in for that one. I've scaled back, turn it off, and on. It is so subtle. I've scaled back the sharpening effect of that band, okay, which creates a sort of hyper real look that you may or may not like, right? Let me turn it off and on, okay? Let me zoom in again and do that one more time. Off and on. So what we've done is we've increased the very highest frequency, with the curves again right here, and then we've decreased the sort of medium low contrast, and that of course reduces the sharpening of that band. Now you might think, why? Well, think about it. You can really tailor in the exact frequencies that you want to boost and the ones you want to scale back, and do it very, very subtly. Now, next question that I got was, okay, that's fine, but what if I don't want quite that much? You have presets, moderate and neutral and all that, but what if I want a little less? Here's the cool part. You can simply change the opacity of that curves. So let's say I'm going to do 50%. There you go. Now I have reduced the sharpening, very hard to see on the video, I know. I've reduced the sharpening by 50%. Go back to 100%, and there it is sharp. Same exact story with the lack of sharpening or the reduction of sharpening that I'm doing on this curves. I can take that to 50% and scale it back. Now, sharpening is hard to show in videos because you lose a lot of quality, you lose a lot of the fidelity of the actual pixels. So I really recommend that you try this to kind of see. If you have ultra sharp, you might be thinking, I just boosted a little bit and I call it done. Experiment with the negative sharpness and also experiment with small little subtle boosts and also scale back some of that opacity if you feel you need to, right? Because there's a slight difference between, for example, let's say on the high ones here, there's a slight difference between a small boost, mild like that, and then a strong boost and less opacity. There's a subtle difference and you should play around with it. And that's the subtlety that I'm trying to like, I guess, preach about for lack of a better term. We wanted you to experiment with those moderate little changes because it can make quite a difference. There it is pretty strong. So off and on, you see how strong that is. And if I go to the medium low and choose negative moderate, now it's going to blur even further. And now we're starting to lose reality. But if you notice that even though we're losing reality and it's not the greatest look, we don't have extreme haloing or artifacting. That is the upshot of using perfect as curves. That's why the presets exist. Now, if you don't want to do that, let's go ahead and just kind of reset that one. Okay, and let's go to the sharpening one, the high sharpening one, I should say, the high frequency, reset it. We also have another preset, which is very, very simple. And that is where you choose sigmoid 128 base. And then now you can simply pull up and down and create either positive sharpening on the high frequency, see that? Or you can pull it down and create negative sharpening on the high frequency. Now, the fact that they don't completely match on each side, you should try to make them match visually as best you can. But you don't have to make them perfect because that 128 node is right in the middle, protecting that midpoint. Now, here's an interesting thing. I have blurred the highest layer. That has created a softening effect that almost looks like the lens isn't quite that sharp. But the rest of the frequencies underneath, including this one, which technically I can come back to my, let's say, for example, I can come back to my 128 base and I can sharpen the one underneath. Okay, now that's a very interesting look. Again, hard to see on the video, but I have sharpened the not highest frequency and I have less sharpened the highest frequency. And that creates yet another type of look. This can be important if you have a extra razor sharp shot that has a lot of contrast or maybe a mortar effect or something like that. And it's just too much, especially on print, it might look bad. You can actually take down that top frequency subtly and then increase everything else underneath or just one of them underneath, etc. There are so many subtle choices to work with, but the reason why we jump through these hoops is because using the curves to enhance the contrast of these multi-band passes, it allows us to have clean boosting. So let's go ahead and prove that real quick. Let's go to our medium high, go back to our presets. And let's go ahead and push that one to like a positive contrast of 1. And then we're going to go to our absolute highest. And just for grins, we're going to go ahead and push that one really hard to positive contrast of 3. Okay. Now that is extremely hard. You can see off and on. And let's say I go again to my medium low or even the, you know what, let's go medium low. Let's just put that on negative, or we're not exactly sure the preset that we want. So we're going to go again to the regular, the beginning preset, I should say. And then we're going to see about taking that contrast down, something like that. We can increase it, we can decrease it, etc. Who knows how we can really dial that in to soften that frequency underneath. God, it's so subtle. You guys can barely see it, I know, right? And then you can take that high one, which maybe you like it that crispy, as it were. You take this opacity back a little bit, and now you've dialed in this perfect sharpening that you really like, right? That is the entire point, is to use the curve so you can have the smoothest results without too much haloing or artifacting, like I said. And you can choose to have certain bands to be negative sharpening, that is to say softening, right? But still softening in a smart way. Now, don't get me wrong. You can absolutely, start showing glows and artifacts and all kinds of banding and problems if you push these things really, really hard. So for example, on the low curves, right? If I were to say, this is the lower frequency, if I were to boost the contrast quite a bit, you'll notice that I start getting a weird sort of glowy, funny look. But even then, as bad as that is, off and on, as bad as that is, the haloing is somewhat under control, even though it's utterly useless. I would not do this look. But the idea that you can come in here and say, give me a negative contrast in the low frequencies, and you have a very subtle, I don't want to say a soft focus look, but you kind of do, if you wanted that while coming up here and choosing to sharpen, the higher frequencies, etc. I know I'm kind of going over it 12 times here, but the idea is to show you that there's flexibility, and the upshot, again, the whole exercise behind the curves is to keep your sharpens and your unsharpens clean, because every sharpening effect begins with blurring. That's a whole technical discussion. However, The fact that we have all this is for utter control. You can close that folder and leave it and keep working above, or you can flatten to a new layer, just like I did there, or you can flatten downward if you want and just keep rolling along with your edit if you're convinced that the sharpening is good. You can also do sharpen at the very end, before or after your color work. I mean, there's just so many choices. Sharpening is a philosophy in itself. But if you have any questions about how Ultrasharp Pro works, especially with the curves, leave a comment down below. We do have the contrast one, which just uses regular sliders. That is good. However, if you push it too hard, you start seeing a little less of a smooth sharpening effect, and that's why the curves one is so powerful. So some thoughts there. Drop me a comment, like I said, or an email, nbp@ninobatista.com. If you have any questions, I use Ultrasharp, I would say about half the time, because I don't always sharpen, like I said. But when I do, I like to use the curves, and I know I can dial in exactly what I want and push it a little harder if I want to, knowing it's not going to be a mess.